The Pokédex is meant to teach kids about Pokémon, but some entries are straight up terrifying. One Pokémon steals children. Another? It says a boy couldn't sleep, and one day he just turned into a Pokémon. No explanation. And yes, Nintendo actually published this. So, here are 30 Pokédex entries that prove Pokémon isn't just weird. It's seriously messed up. Starting with Yamask Pokédex entry from Pokémon Black. Each of them carries a mask that used to be its face when it was human. Sometimes they look at it and cry. Let that sink in. Yamask isn't just a spooky ghost Pokémon. It's actually the trapped soul of a person who died, forced to carry the very face they once had. Not just a symbol, but their real face, kept close as a cruel reminder. And sometimes all it can do is stare at that mask and weep for the life it lost. This isn't just eerie, it's a deep, haunting kind of despair. Imagine waking up trapped in a body that's not yours, forever cut off from your old life. Yamask doesn't just haunt the world, it haunts itself. Now, let's check out Chandelure's entry from Pokémon White. Being consumed in Chandelure's flame burns up the spirit, leaving the body behind. So it's not just death when Chandelure gets you, your very soul gets incinerated. It's not trapped or stolen, it's completely wiped from existence, while your empty body collapses like a lifeless puppet. No second chances, no wandering spirit, just total oblivion. That's beyond spooky. It's a whole new level of terrifying. If you ever see a Chandelure drifting your way, don't bother running. Just pray it's not hungry. Here's one that'll definitely make you uneasy. Shedinja's entry from Pokémon Ruby. Shedinja's body doesn't move, not even a twitch. A closer look at its back will reveal that there is a gaping hole there. It is said that anyone peering into the hole has their spirit stolen. So let me get this straight. Shedinja is basically a lifeless shell, just floating there, completely still. And if you accidentally glance into that hole in its back, boom, your spirit gets stolen. No warning, no second chances, just instant soul theft. Which raises a pretty important question. Every trainer who's caught a Shedinja, are they just dead inside now? Because honestly, that would explain a lot, especially my sleep schedule. Next up is Drampa from Pokémon Ultra Sun. If a child it has made friends with is bullied, Drampa will find the bully's house and burn it to the ground. At first glance, Drampa seems like the gentle, wise old dragon of the Pokémon world. Calm, kind, protective. But it's not just protective, it's vengeful. Most Pokémon might fight to defend their friends, maybe scare off a threat. Drampa? It skips the warnings entirely. If someone bullies a child it cares about, it doesn't just stop at the playground, it hunts down the bully's home. Now picture this. You're a kid who teased someone at school, maybe pushed them around, took their lunch money. No big deal, right? But that night, you hear a deep rumbling outside. You look out the window, and there's Drampa staring right at you. Before you can react, your house is swallowed by flames. Drampa's fury isn't just immediate, it's absolute. It doesn't just punish the bully, it destroys everything they have. And the scariest part? Drampa doesn't even hesitate. In its mind, this is justice. Let's check out Hypno's entry from Pokémon Fire Red. It carries a pendulum-like device. There once was an incident in which it took away a child it hypnotized. So Hypno didn't just almost kidnap a kid, it actually did. No, it lures people in or has a creepy aura. Nope. This Pokémon straight up stole a child and vanished with them. Where did the kid go? Did they ever come back? The Pokédex stays silent. All I know is, if I ever see a Hypno, I'm locking every door, shutting every window, and sleeping with one eye open. Now, let's talk about a Parasect's entry from Pokémon Fire Red. A host-parasite pair in which the parasite mushroom has taken over the host bug. The bug is mostly dead. So let's break this down. Parasect isn't really a Pokémon anymore. It's a walking corpse, completely controlled by the giant mushroom growing on its back. The original bug that hatched as a cute little Paras, it's gone. No thoughts, no will. Just an empty shell being puppeteered by a parasite. And here's the truly terrifying part. This isn't just fantasy. In the real world, fungi like cordyceps infect insects, hijack their nervous systems, and force them to act against their will, eventually bursting out to continue their life cycle. Now imagine that on a bigger scale. In the Pokemon world, Parasect isn't just a bug gone wrong, it's a warning. That mushroom isn't just along for the ride, it's the one in charge. Let's talk about Phantump's entry from Pokemon Sun. These Pokemon are stumps possessed by the spirits of children who died in the forest. Their cries sound like eerie screams. Wait, children who died in the forest? And now their spirits are trapped haunting tree stumps, doomed to wander forever, letting out blood-curdling screams? And Pokemon just casually slipped this in like it's no big deal. Imagine getting lost in the woods, hearing what sounds like a crying child, only to realize it's not a child at all. It's a Phantump, which means someone never made it out. Yeah, maybe don't wander into tall grass alone. Let's switch gears to Jellicent's entry from Pokemon Black. The fate of the ships and crew that wander into Jellicent's habitat. All sunken, all lost, all vanished. So Jellicent isn't just some giant, spooky jellyfish. It's a full-blown sea monster that obliterates entire ships without leaving a trace. Crews, cargo, vessels, all gone. No wreckage, no survivors, just eerie silence beneath the waves. And somehow, no one questions it. Ships keep disappearing in the same spot, and everyone shrugs it off like, must have been the waves. Nope, the ocean was already terrifying. Now it's downright haunted. Moving on to Malamar's entry from Pokemon Y. It wields the most compelling hypnotic powers of any Pokemon, and it forces others to do whatever it wants. Malamar isn't just hypnotic. It has the strongest mind control powers of any Pokemon. If it wants you to do something, you will do it. No resistance, no free will, total submission. Imagine locking eyes with this thing and suddenly your body isn't yours anymore. One moment, you're normal. The next, you're robbing a bank, handing over everything you have or worse, and you don't even know why. Yeah, no thanks. Next up is Houndoom's entry from Pokemon Gold. If you are burned by the flames it shoots from its mouth, the pain will never go away. So Houndoom doesn't just burn you, it curses you with eternal agony. This isn't some ordinary burn, this is hellfire, searing deep into your soul, making sure the pain lasts forever. No healing, no relief, just endless suffering. Imagine getting hit by one of its flamethrowers and realizing this pain isn't going anywhere. No medicine, no Pokemon Center can fix it, just a lifetime reminder that you messed with the wrong fire-breathing hellhound. At this point, I'd honestly rather just avoid the flames altogether. Now for a truly bizarre one. Kadabra's entry from Pokemon Fire Red. It happened one morning. A boy with extrasensory powers awoke in bed, transformed into Kadabra. Hold up, Kadabra used to be a kid? This isn't just a Pokemon with psychic abilities. This is straight up body horror. Some poor kid went to bed as a normal human and woke up as a Pokemon, with no explanation, no warning, just a completely new existence. And this raises so many questions. Did the kid still have memories of their human life? Did their family just find an empty bed one morning, completely unaware that their child was now out there, trapped in a Pokemon's body? Does this mean every Kadabra was once human? And if so, what about Abra? At this point, catching a wild Kadabra doesn't feel like building a team. It feels like kidnapping. Let's check out Salazzle's entry from Pokemon Ultra Sun. It punishes Salandit that can't bring it food with a fierce slap of its flame-spewing tail. Salazzle isn't just a predator, it's a dictator. It rules over a harem of Salandit, forcing them to hunt and bring it food. Fail to deliver? No second chances, no mercy, just a blistering slap from its flame-spewing tail as punishment. But here's the kicker. The Salandit keep obeying. They know they're disposable, they know they're being used, yet they stay hopelessly devoted. Why? Because Salazzle's toxic body literally brainwashes them. Its pheromones make them so infatuated, they'll do anything to please her, even if it means getting burned. This isn't just dominance, it's manipulation at the darkest level. Salazzle has perfected the ultimate toxic relationship. Not useful? You get burned. And the worst part? You'll probably thank her for it. If you've made it this far and you're enjoying the video, go ahead and drop a like and smash that subscribe button. It really helps small channels like this grow and keeps the creepy content coming. Alright, let's keep going. Next up, Delmisa's entry from Pokemon Sun. The soul of seaweed adrift in the waves became reborn as this Pokémon. It maintains itself with new infusions of detritus and seaweed. So Delmise isn't just another ghost type. It's a literal haunted pile of ocean junk. A wandering spirit latches onto seaweed, shipwreck scraps, whatever it can find, and somehow that becomes a Pokémon. And the creepiest part? It doesn't actually have a body. The giant anchor and ship's wheel? Not part of it. Just objects it's possessing. Meaning if it ever lets go, it could attach itself to something else. A bigger anchor, a sunken battleship, maybe even an entire ghost ship? Honestly, the Pokémon world was already spooky enough without haunted ocean trash coming to life. Now, let's check out Litwick's entry from Pokémon Black. While shining a light and pretending to be a guide, it leeches off the life force of any who follow it. This isn't just some ghostly prank, it's pure cruelty. Litwick doesn't chase or attack you. Instead, it pretends to help, acting like a friendly little lantern, leading you through the dark, all while quietly draining your life with every step. The worst part? You don't even notice. You just feel yourself getting weaker and weaker until there's nothing left. And if you survive long enough, congrats! You might meet Chandelure, who finishes the job by incinerating your soul. Litwick doesn't steal life. It tricks you into handing it over. That's what makes it truly terrifying. Now, let's keep this nightmare train rolling with Lampent's entry from Pokémon Black 2. The spirits it absorbs fuel its baleful fire. It hangs around hospitals waiting for people to pass on. So after Litwick lures in unsuspecting victims and drains their life force, Lampent takes it a step further. This thing doesn't just feed on random people in the wild. It actively waits for death. It lurks outside hospitals, silently floating through the halls, patiently waiting for someone's final moments, so it can steal their soul the second they pass. That's not just creepy, it's calculated. Lampent knows where to find dying souls, and it preys on them at their weakest. It doesn't attack, it doesn't hunt, it just waits. At this point, we're way past just spooky territory. This is straight-up Grim Reaper behavior. And considering that Chandelure incinerates spirits completely, what happens to all the souls Lampent collects? Are they just fuel? Do they ever move on? Or are they forever trapped in its flickering flame? One thing's for sure. If you ever see a Lampent floating nearby, someone's time is up. Next up, let's talk about Gorgist, with its Pokémon X entry. Singing in eerie voices, they wander town streets on the night of the new moon. Anyone who hears their song is cursed. Some ghost types haunt abandoned buildings or linger deep in the woods. But Gorgist, it doesn't hide. It strolls through town streets out in the open, on the darkest nights, singing softly into the silence. And if you're unlucky enough to hear that song, that's it. You're cursed. No chase, no fight, no warning. Just a lullaby of doom drifting through the air. And by the time you realize something's wrong, it's already far too late. The creepiest part? Gorgist doesn't go out of its way to attack anyone, it just sings. That's all it takes. The curse is in the melody itself, subtle, inescapable, final. As for what happens to the cursed, the Pokédex leaves that to your imagination. But if you ever hear faint singing outside on a moonless night, whatever you do, don't open the door. Here's a disturbing one, Cacturn's entry from Pokémon Sapphire. If a traveler is going through a desert in the nighttime, Cacturn will follow in a ragtag group. The Pokémon are biding their time, waiting for the traveler to tire and become incapable of moving. At first, this might not sound too bad. A group of Cacturns silently trailing behind you in the desert? Maybe they're just curious, right? But then you realize, they're not curious. They're patient. They don't attack, they don't make a sound, they just follow step for step, waiting for you to slow down and stop. And the moment your legs give out from exhaustion, that's when they strike. No rescue, no remains, just another traveler swallowed by the sand. And it makes you wonder, how many people have vanished in the desert, chalked up to dehydration or getting lost, when the real reason was a silent group of cactus stalkers watching from the dunes? Moral of the story: never cross a desert on foot in the Pokémon world. Ride a Camerupt. Call a Flygon. Heck, dig with a Dugtrio if you have to. Just don't walk, because something will be watching, and it will be waiting. Let's talk about Beware, with its entry from Pokémon Moon. This Pokémon has the habit of hugging its companions. Many trainers have left this world after their spines were squashed by its hug. You'd think a big, fluffy bear Pokémon would be the perfect cuddly companion until you realize it's hugging people to death. Bewear isn't evil, it's not angry, it's just dangerously affectionate. This thing can snap full-grown trees in half with a casual swipe. So when it wraps those massive arms around you in a loving embrace, there's no getting out. No time to scream, just crunch. And the worst part? It has no idea. In Bewear's mind, it's just being sweet, showing you how much it cares. It doesn't realize that every hug could be fatal. It just wants to snuggle. Imagine spending months training with your Pokémon, forming a deep bond, building that unbreakable trust, only for that trust to literally break your spine. In Bewear's eyes, you weren't crushed, you were just loved a little too hard. Let's talk about Heatmor, with its entry from Pokémon Shield. Using their very hot, flame-covered tongues, they burn through Durant's steel bodies and consume their insides. This isn't just hunting, this is torture. Most predators go for a quick kill, not Heatmor. It specializes in slow, agonizing deaths. Its weapon of choice? A burning hot, flame-covered tongue that pierces straight through Durant's steel armor like it's nothing. Imagine being a Durant, thinking you're safe inside your tough exoskeleton, only to feel molten heat tearing into you from the inside. You're still alive, still conscious. And that tongue? It's not done. It slithers deeper, melting nerves, muscles, while you can't move, can't scream, can't escape. And when it's over, the shell remains. An empty husk, steel intact, soul extinguished. This isn't a battle. It's not even a hunt. It's a one-sided execution carried out with surgical cruelty. And the worst part? Heatmor knows what it's doing, and it does it anyway. Let's talk about Dusknoir with its Pokédex entry from Pokémon Ruby. Dusknoir can pass through any wall no matter how thick it may be. Once this Pokémon chooses a target, it will doggedly pursue the intended victim until the break of dawn. You can't run. You can't hide. It will find you. Picture this. You're walking home late at night. The streets are silent, empty, just your footsteps echoing in the dark. But then you feel it, that prickling sensation crawling up your neck, like you're not alone. You glance back, nothing. But the unease doesn't fade, it grows. Then you spot it, a faint silhouette beyond the streetlights. Floating, watching, a single red eye glowing in the dark. You walk faster, it glides closer. You cut through an alley, it passes straight through the wall. You sprint to your front door, heart racing, hands trembling. You slam it shut behind you, thinking you're safe, but you're not. Because doors don't stop it, walls don't matter. It's not bound by anything but time. You hide, under the bed, beneath the covers, holding your breath, hoping it gives up. But it won't. Dusknoir doesn't attack. It doesn't speak, it just watches, hovering in the shadows, patient and silent, because once it marks you, it will never stop hunting, not until sunrise. Now, let's take a look at Miss Drevis with its Pokédex entry from Pokémon Ruby and Sapphire. Miss Drevis frightens people with a creepy sobbing cry. The Pokémon apparently uses its red spheres to absorb the fear of foes as its nutrition. So Miss Drevis doesn't just scare people for fun, it feeds on fear. That sobbing sound you hear echoing through the night, it's not grief, it's bait. Miss Drevis lures you in with the sound of someone weeping, vulnerable and alone. And the moment your heart skips a beat when dread creeps in and your mind races, it strikes. Not with claws, not with fangs, but with its glowing red orbs draining the fear right out of you and feeding on your terror like it's a warm meal. Picture yourself walking a forest trail at night. All is still until you hear quiet crying in the trees. Soft, human, helpless. Against your better judgment, you move closer, and then you see it. Two crimson lights floating in the dark. Your instincts scream to run, but it's too late. You've already felt fear. And for Miss Drevis, that's dinner. Vespiquen is already terrifying as a queen bee Pokémon, but its Pokédex Legends Arceus entry takes things to a whole new level. Commands its subjects to build its hive. It will dispatch any interlopers who dare sneak into its nest and use them as nourishment for itself. So not only does Vespiquen rule over a colony of Combi, but if anything, or anyone, dares to intrude, it doesn't just chase them off, it feeds on them. Think about that for a second. Most hive-based Pokémon, like Beedrill, just aggressively defend their territory. But Vespiquen? It eliminates intruders and devours them. That means anything from smaller Pokémon to perhaps even an unlucky trainer could end up as food for the queen. It also raises an unsettling question. How exactly does it consume its victims? Do the worker Combi break them down and bring the remains to her? Or does Vespiquen do it herself in some twisted way? Either way, it's horrifying. And it's not like anyone can fight back either. Vespiquen doesn't lift a finger unless necessary. It just commands its loyal workers to do the dirty work. That means if you ever get too close to a Vespiquen's hive, you won't just be dealing with her. You'll be facing an entire swarm of Combi, ready to overpower you. Most trainers wouldn't think twice about wandering near a beehive in the Pokémon world. But after reading this, you might want to think again. Next up, let's talk about a Pokémon you'd never expect to land on a list like this, Jigglypuff. Its Pokémon Sapphire entry reads, "When this Pokémon sings, it never pauses to breathe. If it is in a battle against an opponent that does not easily fall asleep, Jigglypuff cannot breathe, endangering its life." At first glance, Jigglypuff is all charm, big eyes, soft pink body, a bubbly personality. But behind that adorable face is a terrifying truth. Jigglypuff's signature move could kill it. Every time it sings, it holds its breath for the entire performance. If its opponent falls asleep quickly, great, it wins. But if the foe resists, if they manage to stay awake through sheer willpower, or worse, they're immune to sleep altogether, Jigglypuff keeps singing until it can't. No pauses, no breath, just a sweet melody spiraling into suffocation. Imagine a battle dragging on, Jigglypuff's voice trembling, eyes wide with panic, as it forces the song to continue. It has to. If it stops, it loses. But if it doesn't stop it might die. It makes you wonder how many trainers have unknowingly watched their Jigglypuff push itself too far. How many have seen it collapse after a lullaby, thinking it just fainted, never realizing it sang itself to death? In a world full of dragons, ghosts, and living weapons, this little pink puffball might just have the most tragic fate of all. Moving into our next entry, let's talk about Meowstic, a Pokémon that hides something terrifying behind its calm demeanor. Its Pokémon X entry reads, "When in danger, it raises its ears and releases enough psychic power to grind a 10-ton truck into dust." At first glance, Meowstic looks refined, elegant, composed, even a little aloof. But those tightly folded ears? They're not just for show, they're a warning sign. Because when Meowstic feels threatened, those ears lift, and the result is devastation. Not just damage, not just destruction. We're talking about reducing a 10-ton truck to dust. That's obliteration on a molecular level. It doesn't fight to win. It fights to erase. And here's where it gets truly disturbing. This isn't some big dramatic battle technique. It's a reflex, a panic response. Meaning if Meowstic feels even slightly endangered, it might not wait for a command. It might not hold back. It just reacts. How many unsuspecting trainers startled their own Meowstic during training? How many never even had the chance to say a word before disappearing without a trace? Meowstic may not be a ghost type, but with power like that, it can make ghosts fast. Next up, we have Eevee, a fan favorite, best known for its incredible adaptability. But its Ultramoon Pokedex entry takes that trait to a disturbing new level. Its genes are easily influenced by its surroundings. Even its face starts to look like that of its trainer. We're used to Eevee changing its form, fire, water, psychic, fairy. But this isn't about elemental evolution. This is about something far more personal. This implies that Eevee's very biology, its face, can begin to morph into a reflection of its trainer. At first, it might seem sweet, like a pet resembling its owner. But think about it. Really think about it. You wake up one day, glance at your Eevee, and its features are off. The tilt of its eyes, the curve of its mouth, the expression it gives you. Slowly, day by day, it becomes more familiar, more human, more like you. And if Eevee's genes respond to its environment that easily, what else is it copying? Your mannerisms? Your voice? Your thoughts? Is this a bond or a replacement? Eevee's adaptability has always been its greatest gift, but maybe, just maybe, it's not adapting to survive. It's adapting to become you. Here's one that'll make you uneasy. Again, let's talk about Golbat and its silver Pokedex entry. It's downright vampiric. It can drink more than 10 ounces of blood at once. If it has too much, it gets heavy and flies clumsily. Pokémon is supposed to be a kid-friendly franchise, but some entries make you question that. This one makes it clear. Golbat isn't just nibbling or sipping blood, it's a full-on bloodsucker. 10 ounces. That's almost a whole can of soda. That's a lot of blood to gulp down in one go. And with Zubat and Golbat swarming caves by the dozens, that means these bloodthirsty fiends are constantly feeding, draining whatever creatures they can catch endlessly. But here's the real nightmare. The Pokédex never says Golbat only drinks the blood of Pokémon. With predators like this flying around at night, who's to say trainers aren't on the menu too? Forget vampires. Golbat is a living nightmare all on its own. Shifting focus, let's talk about Sinistcha, whose Scarlet entry shows just how deceptive it can be. It pretends to be tea, trying to fool people into drinking it so it can drain their life force. Its ruse is generally unsuccessful. So this Pokémon literally disguises itself as a cup of tea, hoping some unlucky soul will take a sip. Not for refreshment, but to have their life force drained. The funny part? It's terrible at it. Imagine lurking around, setting the perfect trap, only for nobody to fall for it. Maybe the eerie aura gives it away. Maybe folks in the Pokémon world have just learned not to drink random, unguarded tea. Either way, Sinistcha isn't as subtle as it thinks. But seriously, why are so many Pokémon obsessed with stealing life force? We've seen ghosts drain energy, lanterns pretend to help travelers only to feed on them, and even Pokémon, like Jigglypuff, risking their own life just to keep singing. The Pokémon world is ruthless. And if there's one lesson here, it's bring your own tea. Shifting focus to a true nocturnal predator, Gliscor's Legends Arceus entry reads like something straight out of a horror movie. It glides soundlessly on pitch-black wings and sinks sharp fangs into the throat of its prey. It takes on a look of satisfaction once it has entirely drained its prey of blood. Gliscor isn't just a hunter, it's a nightmare lurking in the skies. Imagine walking through a dark forest, the only sound being the rustling of leaves, then silence. No warning, no flapping wings, just a sudden presence above you. Before you even realize it, razor-sharp fangs pierce your throat, and the last thing you see is its satisfied grin as it drains every last drop. That's not even the worst part. It enjoys it. The Pokédex makes it painfully clear that Gliscor isn't just feeding out of necessity, it relishes the process. The look of satisfaction on its face means it doesn't just kill, it takes pleasure in draining its victims dry. And let's not forget how it moves. Most predators make noise, footsteps, rustling, maybe even a growl, but Gliscor, it's pure silence. It glides on pitch-black wings, blending into the night, making it impossible to detect before it strikes. By the time you realize it's there, it's already too late. The more we go through these Pokédex entries, the clearer it becomes. There are some Pokémon you just don't want to meet in the wild. And if you ever find yourself in the dark with a sudden, eerie silence overhead, run. Next up, Hattrom's Violet entry says, the moment this Pokémon finds someone emitting strong emotions, it will pummel them senseless with its braids to silence them. Picture this. You're in a crowded place, a party or busy street. The noise is overwhelming, the chaos intense. Then you feel it, eyes watching, but something deeper. An uneasy weight in the air. Out of the corner of your eye, you catch a glimpse, long braids swaying like they're alive, reaching out. Hattrom senses your anxiety, your frustration. Without warning, its braids lash out like whips, striking you again and again until your thoughts drown out and silence takes over. When your emotions are subdued, it vanishes as quietly as it appeared, leaving you shaken and unsure if it's still watching. Next time your feelings run wild, you might wonder if Hattrom is nearby, waiting to silence you again. Now, let's delve into Dusknoir's Pokédex entry from Pokémon Sword. With the mouth on its belly, Dusknoir swallows its target whole. The soul is the only thing eaten. Dusknoir disgorges the body before departing. Dusknoir's existence is one driven by forces beyond its control. The description paints it in an incredibly unsettling light. It doesn't hunt for food, nor does it hunt for revenge. What it seeks are the souls of the living, swallowed whole in a terrifying, soul-stealing ritual that leaves nothing but an empty, lifeless body behind. Dusknoir's mouth on its belly is no ordinary feature. It's a gateway for the spirits of the deceased, a portal that devours souls at the bidding of the spirit world. It doesn't have the will to choose its victims or to stop once it's started. This Pokémon is compelled to fulfill its duty, stealing away the very essence of life from the living. The body is left behind, discarded like an old shell, but the soul is never seen again. The most harrowing part? Dusknoir is nothing more than a puppet for the spirit world, its own will subjugated to the call of the souls it's meant to claim. It doesn't care if it's your friend or a stranger. It will calmly and methodically carry out its task, as if it has no choice in the matter. Once its mission is complete, Dusknoir disgorges the body, leaving it lifeless and empty, with no memory of the encounter. There's no malice, no personal vendetta, just the chilling reality that Dusknoir is a vessel, fulfilling a grim duty to harvest souls, without ever having a say in the matter. For it, this is just the price it pays to serve the spirit world. The bodies it leaves behind may seem like nothing more than an accident, but for those who encounter it, they will never know that their soul has been taken, lost forever. And that's the final entry in our deep dive into the creepiest, most unsettling Pokédex lore out there. If you thought these stories gave you chills, wait until you see what's coming next. Why don't you check out this video where I tell you all about the worst rated Pokémon games in history? You won't want to miss it. Catch you there.